Welcome to the ultimate guide for digital treasure hunters and numismatic enthusiasts. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of the Kennedy half-dollar to uncover the hidden secrets buried within its iconic design. Get ready to explore the rare strikes and high-stakes errors that turn this common currency into a legendary collector's prize. The 1992 D. Kennedy half-dollar emerges from the Denver Mint during a transitional era of American coinage, carrying the weight of a legacy that began in mourning and evolved into a cornerstone of numismatic history. While the circulating half-dollar had largely vanished from daily commerce by the early 90s, these Denver strikes were minted with a specific purpose, serving as the workhorses for the few remaining cash transactions that required large silver-colored discs. When you hold a high-grade 1992 D, the first thing that strikes you is the luster. Unlike the hazy, flat surfaces of heavily circulated coins from the 70s, a well-preserved 1992 specimen possesses a deep, satiny sheen that highlights the sharp profile of John F. Kennedy. The Denver D. mint mark sits prominently above the date, a silent witness to the industrial precision of the Colorado facility during a year when the mint was perfecting its automated processes, yet inadvertently allowing for the subtle anomalies that drive collectors into a frenzy today. The visual allure of this specific year lies in the crispness of the strike, particularly in the fine strands of Kennedy's hair and the intricate feathers of the heraldic eagle on the reverse. For the discerning eye, the 1992 D represents a hunt for the blazing strike, coins that escape the brutal clashing of the counting machines and the chemical degradation of long-term storage. History tells us that by 1992, the mint was using more durable die steel, which theoretically should have eliminated errors, but the sheer volume of production created a hidden landscape of possibilities. You are looking for a coin that feels almost heavy with potential, where the rim is perfectly squared and the reeded edge remains sharp enough to catch the light. This isn't just a piece of pocket change. It is a metallic capsule containing the engineering standards of the late 20th century, and within its copper-nickel layers, a mistake could be waiting to redefine your financial future. As we move deeper into the mystery of the 1992 D, the tension shifts from historical context to the visceral thrill of the find, where minor variations start to whisper of significant value. Imagine checking a roll of halves and discovering a coin with a slightly misaligned strike or a faint doubling on the "In God We Trust" lettering. Such a discovery could theoretically command between $2,500 and $7,500, transforming a mundane afternoon into a moment of pure adrenaline. It is the numismatic equivalent of a sudden windfall, a spark of luck that suggests you found something the rest of the world overlooked. For those notable examples that boast even clearer die markers or a pristine surface, the market ladder climbs to $9,000, a figure that starts to feel less like a hobby and more like a life-changing event, bridging the gap between a casual collector and a serious investor. The emotional stakes continue to rise as we look at the high-grade specimens, those rare coins that survived in mint state 67 or higher, appearing as if they were struck only seconds ago. A coin of this caliber, untouched by the oil of human fingers or the friction of a pocket, represents the pinnacle of preservation and could realistically reach a value of $10,000. It is a staggering thought that a 50-cent piece could be worth the price of a solid down payment on a home, sitting quietly in a jar or an old desk drawer. But the intrigue deepens when we encounter unusual mint anomalies, perhaps a planchet error where the coin was struck on the wrong metal stock, which can push the storytelling ladder to an incredible $25,000. This is the realm of once-in-a-lifetime discoveries, where a single manufacturing hiccup becomes a priceless artifact of the United States Mint. In the world of rare collector pieces, the 1992 D can take on a life of its own, especially when you find exceptionally preserved coins that defy the odds of 3 decades of existence. For these uncommon treasures, a value of $12,000 to $15,000 is a plausible outcome for those who understand the nuances of eye appeal and strike quality. It's about the pop of the coin, the way it commands attention when placed under a magnifying glass, revealing a surface free of the bag marks that plague most Denver strikes. These are the pieces that veterans of the coin world hunt for, knowing that the difference between a common coin and a rare treasure often comes down to a few microscopic lines or a slightly more vibrant copper-red glow along the edge, signifying an unusual metallurgical composition that sets it apart from millions of its brothers. The peak of this financial journey reaches almost mythical proportions when we discuss the extraordinary finds that carry immense collector demand and historical significance. There are legends of unusual finds that, through a combination of perfect grading and a unique error, have been valued at $65,000, a sum that can wipe away debt or fund a dream in a single transaction. In the most extreme and rare cases, an extraordinary 1992 D with a documented significant mint mistake could even climb toward an astronomical $80,000. While these figures are illustrative and represent the absolute ceiling of market potential, they serve as a powerful reminder that we are walking through a world filled with hidden wealth. Every time you pass over $50, you might be handing away the key to a completely different life, a reality that makes every clink of metal in your hand feel like a high-stakes gamble. To find these ghosts in the machine, you must transition from a dreamer to a meticulous examiner, focusing on the physical evidence that separates the common from the kingly. Start by feeling the weight. A genuine anomaly often feels off, either slightly heavier or lighter than the standard 11.34 grams, suggesting a foreign planchet. Study the color of the metal under a bright, neutral light, looking for any trace of silver-clad surfaces that shouldn't be there, or a strike alignment that isn't perfectly centered, indicating a rotated die error. Examine the rim shape for any unnatural thickness, and use a jeweler's loupe to scan the lettering for the telltale signs of doubling, particularly in the word liberty. This is a game of millimeters and shadows, and while your heart might race at the first sign of a double die, always remember that professional authentication is the final, essential step to turn a suspicion into a fortune. The quest for the 1992 D. Kennedy $50 is more than just a search for money. It is an obsession with the tiny flaws that make our world interesting. There is a profound suspense in knowing that right now, at this very second, one of these $80,000 treasures could be sitting in a dusty vending machine, a forgotten piggy bank, or the bargain bin of a local coin shop, waiting for someone with the knowledge to recognize it. The mystery of the Denver Mint in 1992 hasn't been fully solved, and as more collectors look closer, more secrets are being pulled from the shadows of history. But as you finish examining your current stash, don't get too comfortable, because the next coin we uncover carries a secret so shocking it could redefine everything you thought you knew about American currency. The 1971 D. Kennedy $50 stands as a monumental pivot point in the history of American currency, marking the very first year the United States Mint completely removed silver from the circulating 50-cent piece. Following the total depletion of silver reserves, the Denver Mint was tasked with producing over 300 million of these coins using a new copper-nickel-clad composition, creating a metallic shift that fundamentally changed how the public interacted with large denomination coins. When you examine a typical 1971 D today, you are looking at a survivor of a massive industrial overhaul. The luster on a fresh strike from this year possesses a distinct, clinical brightness compared to the warmer, softer glow of the silver-clad predecessors. Because 1971 was the inaugural year for the clad Kennedy, the dies were often pushed to their limits to meet demand, leading to a fascinating array of production anomalies that range from minor machine doubling to the legendary transitional errors that haunt the dreams of serious numismatists. The visual profile of the 1971 D is defined by the sharp, bold relief of Gilroy Roberts' bust of John F. Kennedy, paired with the intricate heraldic eagle reverse designed by Frank Gasparo. In high-grade specimens, the fields, the flat areas behind the portrait, should be clear of the heavy bag marks that occurred when these coins were dumped into massive canvas sacks for transport. You are searching for a coin where Kennedy's hairlines are distinct, and the FG, initials near the eagle's tail feathers, are crisp rather than faded or missing. Because these coins were workhorses intended for heavy circulation, finding one that has retained its original mint luster without the hazy grey oxidation of the nickel layer is a significant challenge. This year represents the bridge between the old world of precious metals and the modern era of industrial coinage, and within that bridge lies the potential for mistakes that can transform a common pocket piece into a financial landmark. As we begin to climb the storytelling ladder of value, the intrigue starts with the subtle variations that the untrained eye often ignores. A 1971 D featuring minor die cracks or faint doubling on the D mint mark can immediately elevate a 50-cent coin into the range of $2,500 to $7,500, a range that turns a simple discovery into a serious financial boost. These pieces serve as the entry point into the world of high-stakes collecting, where the excitement of the hunt begins to manifest in real-world rewards. When you encounter more notable examples, perhaps a specimen with a significant die clash or a more pronounced doubled die obverse, the value can surge toward $9,000. It is a staggering realization that a coin once used to buy a gallon of milk could now represent a sudden windfall, forcing you to look at every piece of change with a newfound sense of suspicion and hope. The ladder continues to ascend as we move into the territory of high-grade perfection and rare minting mishaps. A 1971D that has achieved a near-perfect grade from a professional service, appearing exactly as it did the moment it fell from the press, can easily command $10,000. This is no longer just a coin. It is a preserved moment in 1971, a physical asset that rivals the value of a solid down payment on a home. But the tension truly spikes when we discuss unusual mint anomalies, such as a 1971D struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, or a missing clad layer. These freak occurrences of the minting process are so sought after that they can reach a value of $25,000, representing a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that changes a person's financial trajectory in a single afternoon. Beyond the standard errors lies the realm of rare collector pieces that exist as historical anomalies. For exceptionally preserved coins that show deep mirror-proof-like qualities, a rarity for business strikes, the value outcomes can range from $12,000 to $15,000. These are the uncommon treasures that seasoned hunters spend decades trying to locate, pieces that survived against all odds in the bottom of a desk drawer or a forgotten bank vault. The emotional connection deepens when you realize that such a find is the numismatic equivalent of winning the lottery, except the ticket has been hiding in your house for over 50 years. These coins are the crown jewels of the clad era, proving that beauty and immense value are not reserved solely for the silver of the past, but can be found in the copper and nickel of the present. At the very top of our value ladder, we encounter the legendary transitional era of 1971D, the elusive coin accidentally struck on a leftover 40% silver planchet from 1970. Because the mint was supposed to be 100% copper-nickel clad that year, these silver survivors are the ultimate ghosts of the Denver Mint. For unusual finds with this specific metallurgical profile and strong collector demand, the price can skyrocket to $65,000. In truly extraordinary cases involving historically significant examples with perfect provenance and a flawless strike, the value can even reach an unbelievable $80,000. To hold such a coin is to hold a mistake worth a fortune, a piece of metal that defies the laws of its own production era, and stands as a testament to the fact that perfection is never guaranteed in the world of mass production. To hunt for these treasures responsibly, you must adopt the precision of a forensic investigator. Start with the most basic test, the edge of the coin. A standard 1971D should show a distinct copper stripe, but a solid silver-colored edge is the first sign of a high-value transitional error. Use a digital scale to check the weight. A clad $half should weigh approximately 11.34 grams, while a silver-clad error will weigh closer to 11.5 grams. Examine the strike alignment to see if the design is centered or if the rim shape is unusually thick, which can indicate an off-center or broad strike error. Use a magnifying loupe to inspect the lettering for any doubling, particularly around the word Liberty and the date. Professional authentication is non-negotiable, as many coins have been plated after leaving the mint to trick the eye, making a certified grade the only way to lock in these life-changing values. The mystery of the 1971D Kennedy $half reminds us that the mundane surface of our daily lives is often a thin veil covering extraordinary possibilities. While hundreds of millions of these coins are worth only their face value, the handful of errors and high-grade survivors are out there, circulating through cash registers or sitting silently in rolls of halves waiting at your local bank. Every time you hear the heavy thud of a $half, you are hearing the sound of a potential treasure that could pay off your debts or fund a future you never thought possible. But as you prepare to search your next batch of coins, remember that the 1971D is just one chapter in a much larger story of hidden wealth. There is another coin from a different era entirely that carries a secret so shocking it makes even a silver 1971 look like common pocket change, and we are going to find it.